And then we're going to get started with hip extension. Okay, so we've got our ankle weight on. Again, you want it nice and snug so it's not going to move when we work. And I'm going to show you now the first of two exercises. Again, we want to keep these two gadgets nearby because it's going to help you increase the intensity of what we do as needed. So we're just going to put those here. All right, so we're going to work one leg at a time. Now, ideally, you'd have a weight on each leg, and so you could alternate legs. For the purposes of today, I'm just going to be working on my left side. Now, we're going to be getting you down in a tripod position on your forearms and the one resting leg. Now, I want you to pay close attention. When I'm in this position, it's very important to notice that I'm not forward or backward, or that my legs aren't, in other words, I'm over my hip. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm over my shoulders on my elbows, and my hips are over my knees. So I'm in a nice square position. The first exercise I'm going to do is called basic hip extension. This is going to work the gluteus maximus, which is the largest of the butt muscles, and the hamstrings, which is the long muscles that extend from the butt all the way down and they cross the knee joint. These muscles are responsible for hip extension, and that's why the exercise is called basic hip extension. Now, I want to make a word about my neck here. Please notice that I'm not dropping my head. I'm also not extending my cervical spine. Both of those put pressure on the neck, and that's not something that you want because it's going to lead to shoulder and neck pain. If you cannot just hold your head here as a natural extension of the spine with the eyes just gazing at the floor, you can stack one hand on top of the other and rest your forehead. And that gives your neck just a nice natural position in which it can rest. All right, for me, I'm just going to hold my head naturally. Now, I'm going to squeeze my glutes, my butt muscles, and it's going to bring the leg up to about hip level. And notice that my butt is real tightly squeezed, and then it's going to come down with lots of control. Now, there's a way that you can do this and cheat, and I don't want you to do it. Cheating would be just raising and lowering the leg, all right? Kind of haphazardly going at it. But you're not contracting the butt. What you want to do is not think of this as raising and lowering the leg. You want to think of it as contracting the glutes, and the result is that the leg raises. You get that? Because if you came here right now and you touched my butt, you'd see that it was really tight and hard when I was in the top position because that's a maximal contraction. Now you can do this with either a flexed foot or a pointed toe. It doesn't matter, whichever feels most comfortable for you. The main thing here is to really squeeze the butt. Please also take a look at my low back. Notice that I'm not letting the back sag. I'm holding my abdominals strong to keep my pelvis basically in a neutral position, not bent in one way and not sagging, just in a nice neutral position. So again, this is called basic hip extension. It works the gluteus maximus and the hamstrings, and also you're working the low back, the rest of the muscles of the back, the erector spinae to keep the back nice and straight, and the abdominals to some degree because you're having to hold your abdominals in to keep the pelvic girdle from sagging. So that's basic hip flexion. The next exercise we're going to do is going to involve bending the knee to deactivate the hamstring somewhat and throw the thrust of the work into the gluteus maximus. So we're going to get back in our position. Again, the tripod position where you're on forearm and forearm. And also, I didn't say this before, you want to make sure that you're balanced. You should not be leaning more to the right side or more to the left side. It should be very even. Now, step one, if you don't want to be too advanced, would be to take our rolled up towel, okay? This is going to add no weight. It's just going to force you to really monitor your technique. Take the rolled up towel, slip it behind your knee, and grab onto it. The purpose of doing this is twofold. Number one, with the towel there, it's a reminder to grip and contract, which is automatically contracting the hamstrings, and to pull your knee in toward, to pull the heel in toward the butt. Also, it keeps you honest, because what I often see with clients when I tell them just to bend their knee is by the time they start moving, they start losing their technique. So the towel is a really good way to stay honest without using any weight and adding any intensity to the exercise. Now, keeping the knee bent, Again, basically the same form. The neck is a natural extension of the spine. It's neither dropped nor raised. It's just neutral. And you're not going to let the low back sag, and you're not going to, you're not going to make it morph into something weird. You're just going to keep it nice and neutral using the abdominal muscles to control the pelvic girdle. From here, you're just going to come up and down. And again, because we have the knee bent, to a large degree, it deactivates the hamstrings, and now this work goes right into the gluteus maximus. This is excellent for the butt. All right? And I'll just do one more. And now, why do we have the little weight here? If you want to make it a little more challenging, you remove the towel, and in place of the towel, you use this weight. Now keep in mind, you already have the ankle weight, so if you're going to add this weight, you're just adding that much more to the intensity of the training. So what we're going to do is we're going to now put the weight behind the knee, and you're going to grab onto the weight the same way you would grab onto the towel. Get down on your elbows, or rather your forearms, and again do the same exercise. And you really have to grip onto that weight. It will fall if you don't really grip onto it. So you want to make sure that you're gripping onto the weight and keeping it nice and steady. And I'll just do two more, all the way up to hip line and down, and then one more, all the way up to the hip line and down. Again, two easy ways to effectively tone and train the lower body. There's going to be much more coming up in our FitandSexy.tv lower body series. Things that you can do both at home or at the gym. I'm Tara Marie Segundo here at beautiful Club H for FitandSexy.tv.